You hand over $2 for a slip of paper, and for a few days you own a dream. $300 million. A new house, a new life, the whole fantasy, printed on a little ticket. The catch is the odds. Your chance of actually collecting that jackpot is about 1 in 292 million. And the cold way to measure what you really bought is called expected value. By that measure, your $2 ticket is worth only about $1. The lottery is the rare tax you volunteered to pay. Expected value is just the long-run average of a bet. Take every possible prize, multiply it by its chance, and add them all up. Here's a tiny example. You roll a die, and you win $3 if it lands on a 6, and nothing otherwise. The expected value is $3 times a 1 in 6 chance, which comes out to 50 cents. So if it costs $1 to play, you're paying $1 to get 50 cents back, on average. The house quietly keeps the difference. That gap, between what you pay and what you get back, is the whole business. Every casino and every lottery lives inside it. So run the lottery through that exact same machine. A jackpot in the hundreds of millions, times a 1 in 292 million chance of winning it. Then add in the scatter of smaller prizes, the few dollars here and there that you sometimes win back. Add all of it up, and a $2 ticket returns, on average, only about $1. Half your money is gone the instant you buy. Not in some unlucky case, on average, every single time. You are reliably trading $2 for about $1. That makes it one of the worst bets ever offered to the public, and it's sold roughly 1 billion times a week. To really see how bad the lottery is, put it next to its cousins. Every bet in a casino has a built-in house edge, the slice that the expected value says you give up, on average, every time you play. Bet $1 on a single number in roulette. You win 35 if it hits, on a 1 in 38 chance. Run the expected value, and the house edge comes out to about 5%. Slot machines are hungrier, they quietly keep something closer to 8 or 10% of everything you feed them. And the lottery? It keeps about 50%. 50. Half of every dollar, gone on average. Put them side by side, and a roulette wheel starts to look like a charity. The lottery is, by a wide margin, the most expensive legal bet in the country. There's one more trick, and it's hiding inside the jackpot number itself. That giant $300 million headline is not what any winner actually takes home. By default, the advertised jackpot is an annuity, dribbled out over about 30 years. Almost nobody chooses that option. Take the cash instead, like nearly every winner does, and the lump sum is only about half. So 300 million quietly shrinks to 150. Then the tax bill arrives. Federal and state together can swallow more than a third of what's left. So that $300 million dream on the billboard is really more like $95 million in your bank account. Still life-changing, but barely a third of the number that sold you the ticket. And the scale of it is staggering. Americans spend more than $100 billion a year on lottery tickets. That's more than they spend on movies, music, and books, combined. But the truly uncomfortable part is who pays. Lottery spending is not spread evenly across everyone. The lowest-earning households spend the largest share of their income on it, by far. A $2 bet that returns one hits them hardest of all. Which is why people call it what it really is, a tax on hope, collected mostly from the people who can least afford to lose the difference. But there is a crack in the math. When nobody wins, the jackpot doesn't disappear, it rolls over, and it grows. And here's the key, the odds of winning stay exactly the same, but the prize keeps climbing. So the expected value of a single ticket creeps upward with it. A bigger and bigger jackpot, divided by the same fixed odds, means each ticket is slowly becoming worth more. And once in a great while, it crosses the line. The expected value of a ticket becomes more than the price you paid for it. For a brief window, the bet turns positive. But that rising jackpot loophole has a built-in defense. When the prize gets enormous, something else happens at the same time. Everybody starts playing. And the more tickets that are sold, the more likely it is that 2 or 3 people pick the very same winning numbers, and have to split the jackpot between them. So exactly as the jackpot grows big enough to be worth chasing, the chance you'd have to share it grows too, quietly eating that edge back up. Which is why a record jackpot is rarely the good deal it looks like. The same math that opens the loophole tends to close it again. So how big does the jackpot actually have to get before a single ticket is finally worth its price? Set the jackpot divided by the odds equal to the $2 cost, and solve. You need a jackpot of about $584 million, just for the top prize alone to break even. But we just saw that taxes and the lump sum cut take most of that away, and the bigger the prize, the more likely you split it. Stack all of that together, and the jackpot really has to climb past $1 billion before a ticket is genuinely worth buying. Which happens only a few times a decade, for a single drawing, buried under record crowds all making the exact same bet. The window is real. It's just almost impossible to be on the right side of it. And a handful of people noticed. In Massachusetts, between 2005 and 2011, there was a game called Cash WinFall. It had a strange feature. When the jackpot grew past a certain size without a winner, instead of rolling over, it rolled down, pouring all that money into the smaller prizes. And on those roll-down weeks, the math flipped. Every $2 ticket was suddenly worth more than $2. So a few groups did the obvious thing. A team of MIT students, a retired couple named Jerry and Marge Selby, and a syndicate out of Boston. On every roll-down week, they bought hundreds of thousands of tickets each, methodically, by hand, sometimes for days at a time. And they won millions of dollars, completely legally, for years, until a newspaper exposed it and the state quietly shut the game down. No laws were ever broken. So why doesn't everyone do this? Because expected value is only the average, and a single ticket is almost entirely luck. Even on a perfect roll-down week, one ticket still loses, nearly every single time. The edge is real, but it's tiny and buried in noise. To actually collect it, you have to buy an enormous volume, hundreds of thousands of tickets, so that the outcomes can average out. That's the law of large numbers. The more you play, the closer your real result is dragged toward the expected value. One ticket is a coin toss, 1,000,000 tickets is a near certainty. Which is the catch? The edge only becomes money at a scale almost no ordinary person can ever reach. So is buying a ticket always foolish? Honestly, not quite. Expected value prices the money perfectly. But it puts no price at all on the dreaming. For $2, you rent a few days of genuinely imagining a completely different life. And for some people, on some Tuesday, that's worth exactly $2. The math and the fantasy can sit together honestly, as long as you know which one you're buying. So buy the ticket if you like. Just buy it knowing precisely what it is, not an investment, but the cheapest, longest shot you will ever take, with your eyes wide open.